When Arsenal made the unlikely push for the title last season, despite finishing 5th the season prior, it took the footballing world by surprise, including me. Even as an Arsenal fan, it took me by surprise. And yes, we faltered and fumbled at the end, but going into the summer that we had, we as Arsenal fans were very excited for what we could see, and a lot of footballing fans around the world were tipping us to be the team that could potentially win the Premier League title without slipping up this time around. And a huge reason for our success last season was Bukayo Saka, an academy product that has been playing for Arsenal's first team since 2018, but has been playing consistently for Arsenal's first team since 2019, and he has been absolutely outstanding his whole Arsenal career. Arsenal fans love him to death, and when he is on form, he is unplayable. Defenses have to triple and quadruple team him to get him off the ball. He is unplayable when he's on form. But recently, with Arsenal's struggles, we currently sit 4th in the Premier League, 5 points off Liverpool, with a lot of players taking the blame, including the manager, from Havertz to Odegaard not being consistent to the Raya Ramsdale situation. One of our players that I didn't think would ever really get all that much criticism is finally starting to get a ton of criticism, and that is obviously Bukayo Saka. You have football fans around the Premier League, around the world, saying that he is not a good player, he is not world class, he is Cole Palmer's level, or some of them are saying Cole Palmer is better than him. He is nothing but a hyped up Rashford. And in this video, I'll be discussing what I think is going wrong with Bukayo. Is he getting too much hate, or has his play just dropped off a cliff? We'll be discussing that in today's video. So what's going on, everyone? You're listening to Gunner Central here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, like I mentioned, last season when Arsenal did so well, Bukayo played 48 games in all competitions last season, 15 goals and 11 assisted really well, took the Premier League by storm along with Martinelli and Odegaard and Saliba, who was playing his first season for Arsenal. This Arsenal team was really young and we just slipped up. And the reason that we blamed the 8-point slip up and we let Man City win the title, the reason we blamed it is we weren't a deep squad. The players were young. Next season, we're going to invest money, we're going to be a deeper squad, and we're going to be ready to go in and win the Premier League title convincingly. But here we sit in the middle of January and we're kind of at a crossroads. A lot of people are calling for Arteta's head. A lot of people are saying Martin Odegaard is overrated. A lot of people are saying that we are out of the title race already in middle of January. And some are saying Bukayo Saka is not as good as we think he is. He is overrated. He is not nearly as good as he's always been made out to be. And I want to unpack that in today's video because I think that's a really unfair statement to make. Now, I am going to say, if you're not a follower of this channel, if you haven't seen it already, I am an Arsenal fan. This is an Arsenal channel, but I'm going to try be as least biased as possible in this assessment of Bukayo. So bear with me if I am sounding a little bit naive or a little bit biased, but I'm trying to be a little bit fair here. So first of all, I think one thing we can all agree on is that Bukayo hasn't been the Bukayo standards in December at least. Yes, he scored a goal against Fulham, but even against Fulham, he didn't really ever look all that good. He's had decent games, but he hasn't really looked good. And a lot of people are saying it's his haircut, which I just kind of find funny. Obviously, they're not saying that seriously though, but there are a lot of reasons and a lot of different content creators around the footballing world having their take on why Saka is fumbling. Obviously, some people saying he's just not good. Other people are saying it's tactical. Other people are saying that he needs rest. And I think it's a bit of the fact that he does need rest, and there are some tactics that are working against him. Also, with a fact that's not really mentioned, is that he is the scapegoat. He is turned into a scapegoat for a lot of Arsenal fans. And if you look at how he's been playing this season, if you look at the stats, if you look at how he's been playing, I think that is extremely unfair on the star boy. Now again, last season he had 48 games for Arsenal across all competitions, 15 goals and 11 assists, and that was essentially his breakout year. Even though the year prior he played 43 games with 12 goals and 7 assists, last season was pretty much his stamp on world football, saying I have arrived and I am a serious player. Rival fans took notes. Rival fans could do nothing but praise him. And this season, it is all crumbling down on him, and there are several reasons. The first reason, like I mentioned earlier, it's rest. Bukayo Saka has already played 27 games this season alone, 19 in the Premier League, 5 in the Champions League. He played the Community Shield. He's played our only FA Cup game, and he's played 1 Carabao Cup game. And one thing is very clear. The makeup of our team, we don't have a good, dependable right wing backup. If Saka has to go down injured for a long time, we are screwed in that position. We have to do a makeshift. We'll have to be putting Trossard there. We will have to be putting Reece Nelson at right wing, maybe even Smith Rowe at right wing. We don't have another natural right winger that can back up Saka, and that is a huge reason why we've seen this drop off in the past couple games to Saka. He is tired. We saw this at the end of last season. You can't play him too much. The thing is with wonder kids, and Saka was a wonder kid once upon a time, when he was younger, and a lot of these wonder kids, they get ill managed. They get played way too much for their age. When you're 19, 20 years old, you can only handle so much of men's football at a time. I'm not saying don't play your wonder kids, but you have to be cautious with their minutes. If you look at Arda Güler from Real Madrid, yes, he has been injured for a lot of the season, but when he is fit, Ancelotti is very hesitant to start him in games or to play him for a long time, because you have to be cautious with these wonder kids. And Saka, his whole career, since the time he properly broke in to the Arsenal team, he's been playing upwards of 38 games a season and more. His first season that he properly broke into the team was the 2019-2020 season, and he played 38 games in all competitions, 26 games in the Premier League as a, 19, 18-year-old. It's just not feasible. Then the next season, 46 games, then 43 games, then 48 games. Then already this season, 27 games. It's not feasible to be playing your wonder kids this much. So for sure, rest is very important for Saka to get back to his best form. We saw at the end of last season when he tailed off. The beginning of this season, he shot up and he looked really good. He looked energized and he looked much quicker than everyone, much better than everyone, much sharper than everyone. But again, he's starting to tail off this time much earlier on in the season. So if we could get a dependable right winger come cover for Saka, so we don't have to play Saka every single game, that would be so crucial. And also to Arteta, as much as I praise Arteta, he needs to be resting Saka more. He can't be playing Saka 90 minutes upon 90 minutes. When we've won a game, when we're up 3-0, take Bukayo off. Put in Trossard, put in Reece Nelson, put in Smith Rowe. You have to rest Saka when you can. So for sure, Saka is getting overplayed, and that is a huge reason as to why we've seen this drop off from him. And the next topic we're going to get to is tactics. This season, it doesn't take a tactician to know Arsenal have been playing a lot different than we did last season. Last season, our wingers were a lot more central. Martinelli and Saka were getting in behind the lines into the box a lot more often. But this season, because we're playing against teams that have a low block, Saka and Martinelli this time are forced to be hogging the touchlines. That also stops Ben White from giving overlapping runs, which allows Saka space, which allows Saka to not get double teamed. But this time around, when you have Saka on the touchline, he gets the ball and he's easy to double team because there's no overlapping run. It's much harder for Saka to get any sort of attacking movements into the box. Any good crosses, it's much harder. So I'm not going to go too much more into tactics because that's not really my skills of expertise, but I'm sure you guys can understand what I'm saying. Tactically is a huge issue as well. And now the last topic that I want to point out. Saka is getting overhated. Call me delusional, call me a fake fan, call me blinded by Arteta, but Saka is getting overhated. That is a fact right there. You look at Saka's stats. Again, I mentioned 27 games this season already, and he has 9 goals and 11 assists. If you look at him last season, he had 48 games with only 15 goals, 6 more goals than he has already, and the same amount of assists. Last season, he had 11 assists in 48 games. This season, 11 assists in 27 games. And this is with Arsenal not being nearly as good as we were last season. We're not having nearly as much space to attack as last season. No one is finishing their chances, not nearly as much as last season. So we have in the attacking front dropped down drastically from last season. Yet Saka still has the same amount of assists. He has 9 goals, 3 of which are in the Champions League. It's his first time ever playing Champions League football. So yes, in these recent games, maybe in this recent month, he hasn't been nearly as good as we are used to seeing. But people are overhating him because he's an easy target, because Arsenal are struggling. He's getting overhated, and no one is actually looking at the situation we are in. No one is looking at the circumstance we're in. Saka is overhated, and I think, call this a hot take, call this whatever you want, I think Saka has actually improved from last season. Again, not in these last couple games, but overall, I think he's improved as a player from last season. Like I've been saying, there's a lot less space for Saka to work with. He's getting triple teamed and still manages to score 9 goals with 11 assists. If you remember that first goal against Nottingham Forest, what a banger that was. So I think it is extremely unfair to be hating on Saka, to be saying Saka is the same level as Cole Palmer. I rate Cole Palmer, but Saka is levels above. And like I said, it's a hot take, I know, but I think Saka's actually improved this season. But yeah guys, that's the video. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Saka this season? Has he actually been all that bad? Is he getting overhated? What is the reason for his recent dip? Let me know in the comments below. Please be sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.